and welcome back to another video. So, I think you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be attempting to draw Kaeya from Genshin Impact. I was kind of like debating between drawing Barbara, Kaeya, and Diluc, but I think I'm going to save Diluc for an ASMR session, just so I can just really just take my time and draw him and flesh him out. But today, I think we're just going to draw Kaeya, and we'll see how well this goes. I'm just gonna lower my chair. Okay, so I have a 5x7 canvas open, so it's just 5x7 inches, and then I think it's 300 DPI, if not it's 350 DPI. But yeah, let's just get started. I feel like I haven't really drawn in Procreate in a little bit. Been mostly drawing in Paint Tool SI, just because zine work. Hope you guys don't mind that I'm doing more of a real-time talking session for this one for Kaeya. I'm gonna try to make sure there's at least like kind of like an even amount of like real-time talking videos where I do fan art, and then some that I do more like ASMR, so like people can just chill, relax without me talking. I guess Kaeya only has one eye showing. Just gonna make it a little bit harder for me to place his face, his facial features, I guess. And right now I'm listening to 17 semicolon album, or like mini album, special album. I love listening to it. It has such like some nice like kind of like funky songs. So I probably should just draw them in my style and not try to finagle this too much. I do have a reference of him open on the side so I don't draw him inaccurately. I haven't really drawn Kaeya. I've drawn him once, I think, in my sketchbook. Just as a quick rough. The thing is like eyes aren't that like small or sharp, I guess. Does anyone else use Kaeya on their team? I don't know if Kaeya is really popular in terms of being a useful character, because I'm not too into like full-on character building or like team building in Genshin Impact quite yet. I definitely love to superconduct by using Kaeya and Fischl, and occasionally freezing people with Barbara. So I want his hand to be resting, or his head to be resting on his hands. I'm pretty sure I've seen this pose like a lot on Pinterest, probably. His hand looks so weird. We will deal with it after. So let's make this actually look more like Kaeya. So I actually really like Kaeya's hair. His color scheme I think is actually really neat. Actually don't know how his earring attaches. I'm assuming it's like this. Okay, but seriously, if anyone uses Kaeya, it's like, if you ever make him stand like idle during like anywhere on the map, or even like on the character select screens and stuff, that boy is just roasting you and calling you lazy. Like constantly. I have to bring down his hairline a little bit. We'll see. Now, like I mentioned, I don't draw Kaeya that often, so I feel like I'm following the reference a little too closely at this point. Let me pull up the other reference, which is actually his in-game character thing. He looks more concerned. Probably when I'm rendering this, I'll add a little bit more of like hair strands. So his hair is technically tied, correct? One sec, I'm actually gonna open my game and look for him. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see, but you can do is zoom in and look at it. So I don't think, is his hair actually tied? Because at this point it doesn't actually look like it's tied. Almost like stray pieces here though. I always thought his hair was tied. Is it actually not tied? Is it just a long lock of hair? His hair is actually quite long though. I mean, it's pretty, but it's long. He's just flipping his coin. Boy. Let's make his neck a little bit thinner. Guess that's how his earrings kind of look like. His earring, singular. Just gonna do the general shapes and then I'll zoom in because it's kind of hard to see his entire outfit. I guess like the rest of his glove actually isn't shown. It's actually a dark black belt under here, which is on the top, which would be on the side from this view. Oh wow, I actually never really looked at the design of his outfit too much. It's actually really cute. I actually really like Kaeya's outfit. Is it gonna be a pain in the butt to color? Probably, but that's okay. I didn't take a good look at his outfit when I had the game open. Maybe I should have looked at how this actually rests on the back of him. There's no way he's just like casually carrying this thing, right? Okay, we're just gonna start. So, like I usually do, I am gonna duplicate the layer and then I'm gonna hide this one just as a backup. There's no other reason to duplicate other than the fact that I just want to have a backup of the sketch just in case I botch this one up. I'm gonna change this one to multiply. I'm gonna change the line art color, or not line art color, the sketch color to be a little bit brighter. Actually, I'm going to keep it a little bit darker. We'll keep it like that. I'm going to change the background color to what would fit. It's not any colors overlap, and I can't go... I guess we can go like... this color for the background, because his fluffy whatever he wears on his shoulder is closer to like a purpley bluish white color, so hopefully there's enough contrast. We can always change the color of the background later anyways, because I like to keep that a separate layer. So we're gonna make a new layer, put it underneath, and we're gonna start putting in his skin color. I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow. I don't know if I like this as the base color. Yellowy side, just because I tend to add warmth by sliding it closer to the left, or adding more red I guess in this case. So this would be his chest area. Let's see, how do I want to do the lighting for this? This looks too light in comparison, so I'm gonna change it to be a little bit warmer. This for the base. We'll lighten this up a little bit as we go. I'm just thinking if I need to lower his eye. I think that's like the problem when it comes with I should have just like drawn his second eye in instead of drawing his eye patch, I guess. And just fill in the eye patch after, because I think I didn't measure how his... What am I saying? It just looks off, I guess. I actually didn't notice the gold design that's on there. I'm just gonna quickly throw that in. I'm gonna have to do this the way I usually do it, because I don't want to follow too closely to the reference, because to me it doesn't really make sense. And then I think on the tips, it's supposed to be a little bit more like blue. Making sure I'm coloring everything correctly. So lots of light blue, so it'd be up to like here. I think I already mentioned this in the other videos, but usually when I'm rendering like anything that has more of a white article clothing, I guess, I usually like adding a little bit of warmer colors into it as well as like cooler colors. I just like the kind of like the contrast between the two, and I think it looks really pretty. It's a little too purple. Purpley shadow color that I like to do on the skin. I have to make it a little darker. And then I'll try to draw a Diluc a little bit later. And then I'll pick someone from Genshin Impact that we can draw on Ibis Paint. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for me to draw on Ibis Paint, but I think I mentioned this, that Ibis Paint isn't my main drawing program that I like to use for the iPad. But I'll do it because a lot of you guys enjoy watching it, so I'll do it occasionally, but most videos will be mostly me drawing in Procreate, probably, if I'm drawing digitally on the iPad. I'm actually excited to color the glove a little bit. I had a good time coloring. I don't remember whose glove was it last time. It was fun. Was it Witchwanu? And I think Masaki's. For like the J-pop idol one. I think were really cute. Because this is supposed to be the same kind of gold color. I'm going to add a little bit of a warmer shading, I think. Because I'm actually not liking the color choices I chose for some of these elements. I think it should have been a little bit warmer. I can quickly change it right now, though. This is... Oh my god. I actually can't tell which is what in my sketch. Toned black color for his... I don't know, it's like covering a little bit of his chest area, his shirt, I guess. I kind of wish more characters had like this hair color. It's kind of like a dark teal color, dark turquoise teal-ish color. There's probably a word for this color, but I really like this color. Actually gonna bring this down a little bit more. So I'm not gonna dust this color too much because I do have to put in a highlight color for his hair anyways. Really, so I actually don't know where exactly I left off because I had to go eat, and I got some really pretty paints recently, or just now, literally just now. It came in the mail. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this. I keep like kind of like stray half pans in this little tiny tin, but can you see these really like kind of glittery? This one's a duochrome and it's really pretty. Maybe I'll see if I can put up some clips either from my Instagram if I remember to download them, or I'll put in some photos because I think some of you guys might enjoy these colors. and they're from an artist called Pearl Grey, I think. I believe she has a YouTube as well. She has really nice paintings. I also bought her zine, one of her zines. But I think I put it, like, I stored it away, so I don't have it on me at the moment. But yeah. I'll change the shape of his hair a little bit as we go. He looks a little bit, I don't know, fluffy? Is that bad? Probably need to bring the sides in a little bit more. So I'm gonna add a little bit of other colors for highlights. And then I'm gonna take the dark color and put it right underneath, usually where the shadows are. For some reason this gives like kind of an illusion that the hair is actually really shiny. And the way it kind of curves the hair downwards, I really like. So I tend to put the shadows like right under where the highlights are. At least for like, my throat is going. At least for like the crown of his head. That's what I like to do. Like the crown of people's heads tend to have like this highlight that kind of goes like this across. Because like winter is like quickly approaching, it's getting dark a lot quicker. I guess it really doesn't really affect these kinds of videos too much anyways. I think you guys can't really see the entire screen. Okay, so I'm gonna add the remaining kind of shadows by using a multiply layer. I think I said I was gonna use a warmer color, but I think this lighter color will work. I might change the shadow color at the end. I'm just gonna place some simple shadows first, and then when we're about to render everything, that's when I'll start to really flesh out everything. Okay, so I might change the line art color too. Or not line art. I keep calling it line art. I don't really do line art. Change it a little bit, and then I'm gonna see if there's any other shadow color that looks a little bit more appealing. I have to lower the saturation because it's a little intense. I do like the warmer shadows a little bit more. It doesn't really show up on camera too much, but this is what we had. And I kind of like this a little bit more, at least for like the whites. It looks a little bit better, so maybe I'll leave it like this. So I'm gonna merge these now, I think. Yeah, I don't think there's really much to clean up, so in terms of the sketch. So we're gonna merge down my sketch with my colored layer, and then merge down that multiply layer, and then this is how I'm gonna be working. I'm just gonna be working solely on this layer. I know a lot of people get confused about that, but that's how I like to work. There's no need for you to work like this if it doesn't make sense to you, or it doesn't work with your workflow or your process, so there's no need to follow exactly what I do if it doesn't make sense to you, or you see that it doesn't really fit. It has really pretty eyes though. He even has like one little upper lash. If you guys watch like Klee's, one of Klee's videos, like promotional videos, and the fact that Kaeya told all these lies and stuff to Klee, and she believes them. So it's like the monsters of Mondstadt. Or I guess like the Knights of Favonius. Hopefully I can finish this today. I'm like kind of on a time limit, which is kind of why I prefer doing the ASMR ones at night. Then I can just draw the whole night. But now that I'm doing these usually in the afternoon or the evenings, At least with the draw of me's, I tend to do them in the afternoon or the evening. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to get more of a quiet time during the day at least. Because playing Klee is actually really fun, especially during like playing the trials. Ah, so fun. Kind of like a small indication of lips. But I'll try to draw Diluc later. Maybe I'll film it tonight. I drew Diluc like a little bit in my sketchbook, so I'm a little bit more familiar with his design compared to like Kaeya's. I feel like for me at this moment, wait, I don't like where this line is actually. Should probably put it closer to the center. But I feel like Barbara's design and Klee's design, like I know how to draw both of them probably from memory at this point. Just because I've drawn both of them, and Venti too. I've drawn all three of them like at least more than twice, so I feel like I'm familiar with the design. I think Amber I've only drawn that one time for that ASMR video, so I'm not too familiar with her design at all. Okay, I'm gonna actually erase parts of his hair. It just looks a little too dense in some areas, and I don't know if it's necessary, because I feel like I could chisel out parts of this. Okay, let's fix his eyebrow. I feel like I'm slightly intimidated to color Kaeya, or render, I guess. But also like 17's home run just came on right now, so I feel like a surge of productivity. I'm just gonna shove the other earphone into my ear. So sorry if I zone out for a little bit. I don't know if I like defining that shape. I'll just bring this up to there and slowly clean up the rest, I think. I might want to warm up this tone a little bit, so I might add a skin tone to warm up this gold color. I feel like I changed the eyes a little bit so that they could resemble a little bit more of the Genshin Impact style for some of the characters. I think I did the same thing for Venti's. I don't remember if I did the same for Amber's, but I believe for Venti's I definitely did, where I kind of left the center portion like this. Instead of being the darker color for the iris, I kind of left it a little bit of a lighter color. So let's see what color I want to add into his eye. Usually I choose like a more of an outrageous color to do for the highlight, or this weird kind of like reflective light to like to put into their eyes. But I think I'm just gonna use the saturated blue and kind of just fade it in a little bit. So he has kind of like this part and like a dangling part, I believe. I can't see too closely into the picture of Kaeya that I would have had when I was looking at it on my phone, but oops. It's kind of like this long sweeping piece. Kind of this like highlight color that he has, this little streak. I keep forgetting to do this because I keep forgetting that this is still a darn. I keep forgetting that this is still a thing. I'm just gonna exit out really quick. Go back in. Open up the reference tool. I'm gonna shrink this down to be an appropriate size so that we can see him at all times. Looking person. I feel like I'm better at drawing softer, like flower boy kind of esque. Baby. So this shape doesn't look like it really connects. I think like coloring metals is definitely another weak spot I have as well. There's all the things I don't know how to render actually, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I feel like I've made no progress in the last, how long has it been? Like an hour? How to render the glove. This is why I need to do more like fabric studies or like different materials, because leathery materials is definitely something I also don't know how to render that well. Oh my god, I actually don't know how to render this. Because it's a glove, usually there's a seam here. Yeah, I need to do more hand studies. Or like look at gloves, leather gloves, fingerless gloves, and see how they're rendered, because that doesn't make sense in my brain. I'm gonna try my best to block in the hair a little bit more. Gonna add a little bit of this purple in some areas. Or like this periwinkle color. I should really tackle the clothing first. I feel like I'm in the same state where when I was working on Venti's, was that all I wanted to do was work on his face and his hair, so I left his clothes for last, and we saw what happened when I did that. It didn't look that nice, in my opinion anyways. Should I make Kaeya looking this way actually? Like looking forward? We'll see if this is a bad idea. Like instead of scheming to the side, he's actually looking at us. So, looks like... So this would be white. I guess this is all white. Oh, great. I guess I didn't do like the whole picture to the very end because I shuffled it down slightly. So there's like a very tiny like 2mm gap. I think rendering clothes is like definitely one of my weaker points too. I think I've been saying that the entire time. Let me change the lighting again. I actually don't think you guys can see everything that well. Because I changed the lighting a bit in my room. So hopefully you guys can see Kaeya at least a little bit better. I think I want to add a little bit more blue to his hair. I'm just going to change the hue a little bit. Kind Just like slowly add it in. His hair's looking a little bit more green in some areas, and I like to add a little bit of blue. Kind of change the hue. Oh, he actually has a white stripe going down this way. I don't want to make it too dark. Hi, so I actually don't know where we left off, and this is the next day, so I decided to take a break, work on something else for a little bit, so I took a break from recording, and I don't know where we left off, so we're just gonna continue to kind of just refine things. I think we're actually fairly close to being done. A lot of it's just his hair, and wait a second. I need to pull up the reference again. Okay, so apparently... So I probably would have forgot if I didn't put text here, actually. So Kaeya actually has a hole in his glove. Kind of... Is that too high up? I think that's too high up. There are his knuckles. Kind of like right here. I'm gonna make that look more like it belongs a little bit better. But because I believe it's kind of like raised up, so I'm gonna give it a little bit more depth. I guess it'll come out this way. Sorry if the lighting keeps changing. It's like, usually it's easier to record when there's like a lot of sunlight, so it's like usually the lighting's fairly warm. But because it's been snowing a lot recently, it's been harder to get consistent lighting. So that is what is on his glove. I mean, I'm gonna make it shine a little bit more, just to get the idea of what kind of material this is. It's kind of like a metal. It looks like a metal. So majority of it is his hair and this fluffy thing that I need to figure out how I want to shade. Now I think the easiest way to shade this is actually to fill it all in with one of the darker colors. So I'm gonna mix these. And then we can slowly layer upwards to... I've done feathers and fur before, so I don't know why I'm struggling so much. Maybe this is easier for me to do this in... Excuse me. Paint tool's eye. I wonder how well your guys' luck has been though for Genshin Impact. Did I talk about this already? I really want Kaeya. I've been doing single rolls for the last few, maybe 10 or 8 rolls that I've been doing. So I've been doing single shots. So far I got nothing. All I've been getting are weapons and like books, bows. No characters, which makes me sad because I literally have like my whole roster of characters literally consists of obviously Lumen, or like Lumine, the Traveler. Then I have Kaeya, Amber, Lisa, Lisa I don't really use. I have Fischl, I have Barbara, which is kind of sad, and I have Xiangling. I'm only saying it's sad only because Xiangling, and so Xiangling you get after Spiral Abyss 3, I think, as a free character. Like she'll join your team or whatever. And then I believe for, I don't know what AR you have to be to get Barbara, but you get Barbara as well. So it's like I have the 2 characters, all the characters that you get for free. And then I have Fischl. Fischl's a good character though. I really like using her. Especially like in conjunction with Kaeya, because you can just definitely superconduct a lot of things, which is very helpful. Like, I'm okay if I don't have too many characters, but it's just like after some time it just feels like it'd be nice to see a new face once in a while. Like, even for Pyros, like Bennett, I'll take him. But playing Klee for the trial is fun. So I really would like to have Klee. And the way she runs and stuff, super cute. I really want Chi-Chi though. I'm just like, I think because it's day 2 right now, I think you guys probably saw because I exit out of my gallery. And I pink, oh my god, I can't talk. I think, what am I saying I think? I did. I posted to the YouTube communities thing post, and you guys would have saw that I was drawing Diluc. What was I talking about? I think it's the fact that, I wanted to add some yellowy-ish colors, yellow and orange, into Diluc's hair, I think. I think I have mostly like pinks, maybe like a muted orange and purple, I think, in his hair, because that's like colors I like to add usually when I'm working with the color red and I'm shading or adding highlights. I'm like avoiding the other fluffy side. I'm gonna have a blast editing this, aren't I? I feel like there's too many silences, but yet, like, there's sections that I talk too much. Okay, so I think Kaya's almost done. Other than that, left, no, right side. I don't really like the shapes that I'm making here, but I'm gonna kind of deal with these. I'm just gonna quickly outline his, whatever this is. I'm assuming it's a ponytail, but I don't even know if it's tied at the back or if it's just like some long lock of hair that Kaeya has. It's extremely long. Which I'm not against. This is, for me, I would like to understand how their hair works. And don't get me started on Diluc. Diluc's hair is like literally his hair that frames his face and stuff. Like everything's just like flying every which way at this point. Okay, I was gonna say I'm not missing anything drastically, right? I was thinking like I wasn't gonna miss anything that's like too big. But this isn't really cleaned up at all. So let's clean it up a little bit. This is why you just have to find a place to stop. I could literally keep fixing things forever. But I think Kaya's done. This is Kaeya. Our cavalry captain. I think that's what he's called. But he likes to call us a slacker. So let's just go into video, time-lapse replay, and you guys can see start to finish really quickly on how I started to flesh out Kaeya. Constantly changing that mouth. So using the time-lapse replay, the colors are more saturated, so he's not actually like this bright everywhere. The contrast looks really drastic, especially in the time-lapse. So you can see me like slowly cleaning things up, slowly changing the head shape, started working on the gloves. Oh, that's kind of creepy. I find too much amusement out of that. I made Kaeya face, like his eyes more forward, or his eye more forward. Did the eye patch. Look at that. Doing kind of like the fluffy stuff, whatever you call that. Oh, wait, I did forget something. I just looked back at the reference like really briefly. Now my colors look dull. Aw. It's a little too bright. And that is all. This is our cavalry captain Kaeya, and he's finally finished. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me draw this guy. I actually had fun coloring him for the most part, and I actually really adore his hair color, so it was definitely kind of like a treat to draw a character like him. I don't know why I'm still working on it. I should really just put down the pen and just stop. Yeah, I'll just stop. Yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me draw our cavalry captain. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time with another video, which is possibly Diluc. But yeah, bye!